This presentation is to give you an idea about what the Eclipse IPD builder for S1000D can do for you. We'll give you, in this particular presentation, give you an overview of the application, and subsequent presentations will show you in more detail how to do things. So what we're going to cover then is what Eclipse IPD builder for S1000 does, the interface that you're presented with, the various configuration steps that are necessary, the build function, and what you get at the end of it. This application enables you to map a schema, all the elements and attributes, to the contents of a spreadsheet. The mapping can be modified later on if you require, but you have to have obviously a spreadsheet that is consistent between them. So you can do that. You can then use that mapping file to convert the spreadsheet contents into an S1000D IPD data module. And if you've not mapped something, then you can actually arrange for the item that you required to be entered at build time. When you launch the IPD application, the first thing that you see is this very simple interface. And that interface gives you access to the main functions. You can also get access to the functions via the menu option. So you've got a new, modify, and generate buttons there. You can see here the flow diagram of the functions which are provided. If we go through it quickly, the new function enables you to map the ID section, and then followed by the status section, and then by the figure, and then the heading row of the actual data of the IPD. The modify function enables you to change any of those mapping bits and pieces. You may change your spreadsheet so that in fact you've added more items in for mapping, so it's very easy to modify it to cope with that. And the generate part uses the mapping file to work with the various spreadsheet files so that you can create data modules. Those of you familiar with S1000D will already understand that there are two main areas really to the preliminary part of the data modules. There's the part that actually enables you to identify the data module and the type of content it has, the status section which gives you information on where it is, the issue information, and whether it's a draft and things like that. And because it's an IPD, you'll have the ability to include in the spreadsheet information for the figure, things like the title and the file name. And of course you need to identify where the heading row is going to start, and the heading row will contain heading titles, and that will be used to map across to the IPD. It should be understood that although this application can map almost all the schema to the content of the spreadsheet, if any parts of the schema are not present in the spreadsheet, and if they're mandatory, then the contents can be entered at generation time. The spreadsheet content clearly must be located in the same area of each mapping file related CSV file. If it's not, then clearly you'll not be able to do this. So as long as the CSV files are consistent in association with the mapping file, then there will be no difficulty creating an IPD. The build or generate function takes the content of the mapping file, uses that information to extract the data from the CSV spreadsheet and create the IPD data module. It will extract the necessary information, and where a mandatory element is not mapped, the value will be requested during the build function. Clearly, you can't just sit there wondering if anything's happening when you're doing the build, because it can take quite some time. So we're providing a reasonable level of feedback. There's two feedback charts there, one which gives you the overall process, and the other one gives you individual sections. So you can see you'll comprehensively understand where things are. Not only do you have the progress bars, but you actually have text being generated and inserted in the console window. At the end of the build process, the outcome is that you'll get a completed IPD Data Module. As part of the process, we do pass that against the chosen schema, and any errors or missing data is flagged up in a log. Because it's S1000D, you can edit the data module if you require, using a suitably configured editor, and of course we suggest that you use the Eclipse S1000D for FrameMaker application. It's ideal for the purpose and very simple to use. That's the end of this short introductory presentation. There are other presentations here which will enable you to understand and get a feel for how one works with this application, how you can configure it, and how you can modify the things as well.